Hey people, welcome to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to take you guys through the process on getting a new PC without having to think too much, without making mistakes. So do you want to get a new laptop, or do you already have one but you're not able to use it for what you want to do because the specifications just do not meet up? Or you just want to get the most value for money without getting something too extra? Well, watch on to find out more. Firstly, there are different types of laptops as well as different brands. When I refer to types, I mean ultrabooks, notebooks and the likes. But when it comes to brand, I mean HP, Lenovo, Dell, Acer and so on. Now, what we really need to consider when getting a laptop are the components within the laptop. I mean, what makes the laptop perform the function you want it to do. Now we have the processor, the GPU, the RAM, the storage, and well, we can add the display, although the display doesn't really affect the performance. It only affects what we can see visually. Now the processor, commonly referred to as the CPU, although it is not necessarily the CPU, because we have some CPUs that can have more than one processor. Now the function of the processor is just to handle the tasks from browsing to editing. For instance, a person that only does basic tasks like say browsing, you only need a light processor, and someone that does intense tasks needs a heavy processor. In the CPU department, we have AMD and Intel dominating this area. They are both very good, so I wouldn't say which one of them is better. It's just based on personal preference. But I've mostly used Intel processors, and I've seen the ups and downs. I've used the Pentium processor for playing some video games and almost got into a boxing match with my laptop as I was frustrated at the performance. But the laptop was eventually wheeled into the emergency room, so that happened. I can tell you that was no fun, and eventually the processor got damaged. So on the Intel side of life, for light works such as browsing and typing, watching videos, I could recommend the Intel Pentium alongside the Core i3, with the i3 being more powerful than the Pentium, but they are both not recommended for heavy users. And if you would like to play video games, you could pass with playing the Minecraft on the Intel Core i3 because it has an integrated GPU. A GPU is a graphics processing unit, and I will get to that after this part. When it comes to playing intensive games, the i5 upwards the i9 will serve you depending on how intense the game is. And don't get me wrong, the GPU is needed for playing video games, but having a good processor will ensure that the GPU is not bottlenecked. When it comes to video editing, I definitely recommend the i7 and the i9 processors if you want to get speedy works and not sitting in the chair for hours, although the GPU also plays an important role here. Okay, now referring to the GPU, the graphics processing unit, like I said earlier, it is also very important to the performance of the PC. Its uses range from playing video games to video editing, although in this department we have different strongholds, NVIDIA and AMD. Presently they produce discrete GPUs, meaning the GPU operates differently from the CPU. If you want to play games like Minecraft, Fortnite, you could opt in for an entry-level GPU. I would recommend the NVIDIA MX series, for example. Here we have the MX150, MX250, and for moderate gaming at low to medium settings, the GTX 1050 could do here. If you would prefer AMD, the RX 560 would be okay in this class. When it comes to playing intense games at high settings, the 1660 Ti or the AMD RX series will do. This graphics card will also work for video editing, although the graphics cards for video editing are different from the ones for video games. They function similarly. And moving on to the memory department, we have the RAM and the ROM. The RAM is the random access memory, which is where apps are stored temporarily when they are not in use. No, this is not where your pictures, videos, documents and the likes of it are stored. That would be the ROM. I would advise against anything less than 4GB of RAM as a minimum, no matter how minute the task you want to use your laptop for may be, because the operating system already has its RAM consumption. I'm assuming many people use Windows 10, and that would consume about 1 to 3.5GB of RAM already, just running in the background. These days, 8GB of RAM seems to be moderate for smooth operation and memory management. The 4GB of RAM could be okay when it comes to live usage, but the 8GB RAM could still work very well when it comes to browsing, streaming videos, working on MS Office, light gaming, for example. But then if you want to dive into video editing for real, then you need to upgrade your RAM to say about 12GB upwards, and that should do. Now the RAM can easily be replaced in a laptop, unlike the CPU and GPU, which are permanently there. And now moving to the last part of this video, I will discuss the storage, commonly referred to as the ROM. Now this is where the files like the documents, videos, pictures are permanently stored until deleted by the user. Now there are two common types of storage. We have the solid state drive and we have the hard disk drive. The solid state drive is unmatched in terms of speed compared to the hard disk drive. So when you open an application, it opens way quicker on the solid state drive compared to the hard drive. But as you know, the better things get, the more expensive. So I would easily recommend the hard disk drive to anyone, provided they are not so bothered with doing things so quickly or anything like that, just for moderate users. But if you want that extra speed, go for the solid state drive always. Now a summary on all what I've said. For light tasks including browsing, video streaming, light gaming, the Intel Pentium, Intel Core i3 with 4GB RAM, and you can include the GPU or not, that would be okay. For moderate users performing tasks like video gaming or live video editing, the Core i5, Core i7 along with 8GB of RAM and the NVIDIA 1050/1050 Ti or the AMD RX 560 would do. But when it comes to intense tasks, meaning heavy gaming, video editing, the Intel Core i7, i9, 16GB of RAM upwards, alongside the NVIDIA 1660 Ti and other RTX cards would work perfectly here. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure you like, subscribe and share if you enjoyed it.